Namaste. We at Brihat are very delighted to partner with Shankarananda Kalakshetra and Natya Rambha for a wonderful 3-day lineup of Ramayana immersion in Hyderabad city. Right after Ramanavami, just a day after. Let us hear from Gurus Padma Shri Dr. Ananda Shankar Jayant Garu and Dr. Anupama Kailash Garu on how they birthed this and what we can look forward to in the coming 3 days. Ananda Garu, how and when did you conceive of such a wonderful program? I'm so excited about the whole lineup. And just I wanted to add that after being a performer, a guru, a choreographer, presenter, curating such a program, is it a natural step forward?
Namaste and thank you, Kavita and Brihat, for having us be, both Anupama and I, be here for this interesting conversation. Just ahead of our 3-day festival, Ramayana Kalpavriksham, that's just around the corner. So yeah, the idea of doing something on Ramayana is nothing new for me, in the sense that I've been engaged with Rama for a very long time. As I've said, I mean, all of us learn shlokams from our mother. Mine was very early. My mother used to teach us this Ramaya, Ramabhadraya, Ramachandraya Vedase, because when we used to have nightmares, she used to say, you say that then your nightmares will go away. So that was my introduction. Then later, of course, as a young dancer, I think all of us dancers, I'm sure Anupama will agree, all of us have had that experience of doing some role or something or the other in our childhood with our gurus. With my guru, Pakir Swami Pillai, then later at Kalakshetra where I studied, then later as choreographers, as performers. The story of Rama and Ramayana has been a very essential part of dance in India, music and dance, of course, in India. So I think our engagement as artists is continuous. As a curator, in 2008, I was invited to convene the Natikala conference, and there also I took the concept of Ramayana in performing arts, because I think Ramayana in its entirety has so much and has grown so much over so many centuries that it has so much to offer continuously. And so when Anupama and I were discussing this, we were just toying. We had just finished a long session of Tamrapatra. We had done, things. And they said, let's do something else. And then, we were having this conversation of the Ramayana Kalpavriksham of Vishwanath Satyanarayan Garu. And I was chatting with Anupama and I said, Idi cheste bauntundi kada manamu. I've heard these shlokams and let's try and do something together. And that began this journey. What, Anupama, you remember that conversation that we had?
Yes. Anything from Vishwanath Garu's, is there anything from the book?
Yes, one small thing will be coming for you. But then, this kind of grew into, we said, let's call it this title, because the title, I think, encompasses the idea. So what we thought is, let's do something like a festival that goes beyond the genre of dance, music. So we, then of course, Anupama is, when I said, let's have something on talks and scholarship. So my go-to scholar is Anupama. So we have many components: dance, music, scholarship, exhibitions, workshops. So we kind of try to, and of course, what we're doing is little less than a drop in the ocean, because Ramayana is so all-encompassing. Yes. But we are trying our best to do something like an all-encompassing festival for the city of Hyderabad. So that was how it was.
Wonderful, Andy. So Anupama Garu, what in your opinion is the reason? This is beautiful that you both have conceived of this and it's coming up and all of us are very excited, looking forward to it. So Anupama Garu ki question, Adi. So Enduku, why is there's a lack of some more events like this in this city, in the Twin Cities? You had curated Nirvignam a year ago, and there was Feet on Earth Festival recently by your student Pujita. So is there another Nirvignam coming up, or Ramayana Kalpavriksham has taken all your time and you're going to focus on this? And is it going to be yearly, or what can we expect in the future?
I don't know if another Nirvignam is coming up right now. I really don't know about that. And Ramayana Kalpavriksham has really consumed Ananda time for a long time now, because we've been so much, working, and we're trying to bring all elements into this. Yes. So, trying to bring it together, everything was something that,
so Prati Samatram Chayachayate. This will be great for us to look forward to.
Prati Samatram, I don't know, but it will be great.
So Ananda Garu, we are starting again auspiciously with a Nadaswaram recited on 31st March. Kada? 5 o'clock on 31st. Nadaswaram. And then we are ending with Tarakanama on the evening of the 2nd of April. So please throw a little bit of the light on the musical aspects. It's not just dance, like you said. So there's this music aspect also.
Yes. So it's got dance, music, scholarship. Those are the three large elements that we worked around, and a whole lot of other elements that got, attached to it. Like typical Moggu, it just kept growing. So yeah, dance, music, of course, we are starting with the Nadaswaram, which is what we all do. So Nadaswaram by one of our own artists from Hyderabad, Ramachandra. On the first morning, I said, I wanted to bring Tulsi Ramayana. So Tulsi Ramayana is sung in a very different way. The traditional recitation is very different. So we have this artist, Dilkash ji, coming from all the way from Benares with his group, singing the Sundarakandam in the morning, which is a very, very traditional way of doing singing the Ramcharitmanas.
The northern style of chanting or recitation.
So I said, let's bring, we in South are completely used to Rama because of Tyagaraja, Ramadas, Bhakta Ramadas and all that. I said, or kuch laenge, something else. Then we also have Harikatha. The Harikatha in the evening of first is another genre of the way the story of Rama gets carried forward. And the last day, we call it Tarakanama. We have young musicians who are literally now rocking the space. Sai Vignesh of Kantara fame, of Varaharupam fame, and young Abhilash Venkatachalam, who's a super singer, who's got this huge following and all that. So we said, let's bring the young. Let's bring the young who are in the Carnatic space, who are in the classical space, but who are also doing other crossover work, whether singing for films or singing fusion. Because Rama and Ramanama lends itself in every genre. So that is why we invited these young singers with their band. We have a band actually on the last. So that is
very innovative, but it's still within the traditional space in terms of,
traditional and as well as, it has all kind of inputs into this.
So Kalakshetra, you've managed to bring your alma mater here after almost 3 decades. We're very grateful for that.
Yes.
This is on March 31st at 6:30.
Yes, March 31st, the first day, the opening event is Kalakshetra's Chudamani Pradhanam. Because when you say dance in the Ramayana format, the first, and I think the last almost that we have been looking at over the last almost 50 years is the Kalakshetra Ramayana choreographies. As you know, my Guru Rukmini Devi Arundel composed these as a 6-part Ramayana series. Valmiki Ramayana in 6 parts. And Chudamani Pradhanam was choreographed in 1968. This is the 5th of the 6 pieces. It looks at the whole of the Kishkinda Kandam of Valmiki Ramayana. And it's a very visual, big spectacle, so I think
2 hours long? ఎంత సేపు ఉంటుంది?
2 hours, I think. 2.5 hours. I think they might have it. I don't know whether they have an intermission, but it's a very, very detailed performance. So this is something that will open the festival after the inauguration, of course. And then we have the next evening, my group, students of Shankarananda Kalakshetra, presenting a new group work called Bhavayami Raghunatha. So those are the
on April 1st at 7 p.m.
Yes, 7.
And Dani gurinchi cheppandi, so your choreography about that, a little bit about that.
Bhavayami Raghunatha is Swati Tirunal's Kriti, Bhavayami Raghunatha, which looks at the Ramayana in Sanskrit. It has been done by almost all dancers. I've done it many years ago as a solo, but this time we recast it for a group so that my ensemble performances. Somewhere between dance, music, and encompassing all of that is puppetry. We have something again very different on offer on the 1st of April. The first performance on 1st of April is Ramayana Saptaswara by Sangeet Natak Academy awardee Anupama Hoskare, who's coming all the way from Bangalore. And her puppetry is absolutely awesome. I fell in love with it. She's going to take the Ayana of Rama from Ayodhya to Aranyakanda and use all the languages also. So this is something that I don't think anyone should miss. You should not miss anything, but don't miss this at all. Because it's again first time. It's again first time in Hyderabad. It's again first time in Hyderabad. So
yes, wonderful. So Anupama Garu, so thank you for this wonderful lineup. Nagaraja Paturi garu, Gauri Mahulikar garu, Rama Bharadwaj garu, Ame Ganatra, Vishaka Hari, Vinay Varanasi, of course our own Hyderabadi, Jai Saideepak garu. So could you please tell us and explain to us this whole curation process? Was it difficult to pick few, leave few? And Saideepak is going to speak about Rajadharma lessons from Ramayana. So it's just wonderful. So can you please explain the curation process to us?
Yeah,
How
about the
exhausting or how fun?
conference, yeah, about the conference part. So as you said, when I had done Nirvignam, I had kind of focused on speakers, practitioners of different formats, not just scholars. My thing is not just that, scholars coming and talking and analyzing and, threadbare, making something threadbare. This is not, I'm not 100% into that. But Nirvignam, I very much wanted people who are 45 and below. That was my focus because, so that the younger people get introduced to so many things, like like tantras or like, Vedanta or Vishnu Sahasranamam or any of this. But this time, Ramayana is such a vast subject. And there are, there are hundreds of people who are scholars on the Ramayana, who are devotees of Rama, devotees of Hanuman, devotees of, of the entire text. So this time I wanted to have a blend of three kinds of people. One, the seasoned academic, the scholar. Somebody like Gauri Mahulikar ji or Nagaraj Paturi ji or Sudha Seshayan ji, somebody like that. I wanted the young scholars who are really doing extremely well, who have popularized it, in IIMs and all these, like people like Ami Ganatra and Vinay Varanasi. That is a younger scholar genre. And I wanted people who are in other professions. But because of their sheer love for the Ramayana, they have, they have it by rote, like Hemant Pandey, who's an IPS officer, but he has the entire Tulsidas Ramayana, and that's all he's been reading from the past several years. That's the only thing he's been reading. That's what he tells me. And he says every time he reads it, he finds something new in it. So this is just out of devotion they are doing it. It's not scholarship. His profession is different. Sudha Seshayan is actually a medical person. She was the vice chancellor of the medical university, MGR Medical University. But her whole family, the lineage is a Kamba Ramayana. They have the tradition of Kamba Ramayana. So this time I wanted an assortment, and this time it so happened that we have as many men, as many women in the curation. I had just Ami. She was the only woman representative of the entire thing. But here we have this nice, beautiful combination of scholars, of young people, and as well as ardent devotees, actually.
Yes. And you have these wonderful workshops also planned in the 3 days. So looking at Tolu Bomalata in terms of the puppetry, so there's a performance as well as a workshop, and there's Muggu, like kolam, rangoli making, and malas for devatas. So these are all in the afternoon, is it 2 to 4:30?
Yeah.
And is it open for everybody? Is it free? Can you tell us about it a little?
The workshops, if I may interject, the workshops are basically the idea behind the workshops. Again, Anupama and I were chatting. We said, what else can we do? I mean, they will listen, but let's do it. That's all passive, right? When it's listening to someone or you're watching something, you're always listening, it's a passive intake. I said, let's do something a little interactive. So interactive, and I said, what is it that you can learn in 1 hour, at least the basics? What is it you can have fun with? What is it you can go and try again? I mean, there are enough number of things you can learn, crafts and all that. But here I said it needs to have something under the umbrella of the Indic space. And I looked around and I found people. And I said, okay. So I said, this is a wonderful handle we all follow called the Lotus Shakti in Instagram. Every morning I look at it. And she's a gorgeous woman, Hema Kannan, who's every day putting out some amazing columns. I said, how wonderful it'd be for all of us to learn something. I mean, all of us
have friends coming only for her because they want to learn kolam.
So, and I said, okay, I mean, our age group, at least we know. I mean, my age group, okay, you're all younger. So we know how to do it. But the next age group doesn't even know how to draw a line. I said, let's do this. It's just fun. It is something they can keep trying. So that is one workshop. So Kaimak agreed to come. So that's kolam. And then Rama Bharadwaj introduced me to this young person called Rahul Teddy. He has another profession, but he's completely devoted to making garlands to give to for the archana or the puja.
And these
So
are without needles, right? You're supposed to do it only.
Tying, cutting, making parrots. I thought that will again be fun for young people to do, because young people, I think I thought they must do something else. They must also have something else. And then when I suggested this to Anupama Hoskare, who's coming, she said, I'll do the workshop the next morning. How to manipulate puppets. I can't teach you how to make a puppet, but I can teach you how to manipulate a puppet. So she's got all kinds of puppets, gloves, string, all stick. So she's bringing all that. And yesterday she messaged me saying, I'm also bringing a board game that she has created, which will have some young children participating. I'm really looking forward to that. So it's a little fun. And as far as we're charging it nominally.
It's because first come, first served. There's limited space.
It is limited, but you need to register, and it's a nominal charge because it involves material that we need to provide. So it's a nominal charge. It's worth it. It's worth just having some fun there, And it continues to remain in the Indic space.
DIY projects, do it yourself. Yeah, nice.
One more interesting, offer came to us from someone of the stature of that extraordinary painter, P.P. Raju Garu, who has offered to put his exhibition of the Rama. He's got a string of pictorial calligraphy. That's his specialty. So
oil on canvas.
It's called pictorial calligraphy. That's his way of painting. And his team reached out to us and said, we'd love to just be part of this. So, huge gratitude to him that, we have this, it got extended. We didn't plan for an exhibition, but I think Rama has some other plan. So that is an exhibition that, again, you should not miss. It's for viewing.
And it's there all the 2.5 days, 3 days.
Yeah, it will be there.
In the space. Okay. And a question for both of you is that given that there's such a wonderful lineup now, Harikatha artists and Sundarakanda recitation, Nagara Sankirtana, Tyagaraja Aradhana.
Oh, yes.
What do you want the audience, people who attend, to take away? Is it bhakti, shraddha, rasanubhuti, more knowledge, aesthetic enjoyment, something to do on the weekend? Individually, I would like to know from both of you, what is your intention and what would you want us to take away?
Yeah, I think for me, Kavita, I think and both of Anupama and I think when we were having this conversation, what we felt is while they're very young, I'm talking of the young, the urban young. The urban young are to a large extent inured and kind of non-committal and not involved with anything that is that is part of the Indian culture, unless they are a student of music or dance, or they have family who are into that space. So my imagination for this is, of course, the Ramayana, of course, bringing something wonderful, curating something wonderful for the city, but more importantly, bringing our Indic knowledge space through the prism of the Ramayana, through the Kalpavriksham of the Ramayana, through the prism of our arts. So that has been the framework. The framework is, let's ensure that we are able to reach not just those who are already in it, but those who I want to bring into, whom I'm hoping to bring into. Let me put that better. Hoping to bring the young who are to some extent not committed or not aware, I would say, clueless to some extent, about the possibilities that are available within the text, within the epic, within the art space. So if they come through this prism, maybe they'll see the splendor of the rainbow that is Ramayana. So that is the plan. That is the plan. And what do I want them to take away? Well, take Rama back home. Take him back in your heart through whatever works for you. Whether it is bhakti, it is shraddha, it is scholarship, it is questioning. You want to, whatever works for you. But just take him back home. That's all I want.
Beautiful. Anupama Garu?
So I think I have much the same thing. Of course, I always say that, on the holistic level, Anandaka thinks, I call her Midas, she has a Midas touch. So she thinks of, the holistic thing. My thing was, of course, I want everyone to, watch the performances, listen to the music, come for the talks, take all of this. I also want that, through this, we should also create a kind of an awareness amongst the young people as to how much there is available.
Correct.
That is why I wanted to intersperse the talks also with some excerpts from Ramayana Kalpavruksham, some excerpts from, the Vagyakara literature of Telugu. So, simple songs like, Ramachandraya Janakaraja Manoharaya, which people don't, they may sing in their houses, but they don't know who the composer is, what it is. So there are so many things, that the local people, the Telugu people also don't know about their own Ramayanas and their own interpretations. There are so many things that, we don't know about it. And there are so many versions. The whole idea of the meta narrative that Ramayana is, that should go across. And, by involving people like Saroja TK, Sujata TK, Shweta Prasad, all these people, Akka's intention also was, that different people from the music community should come, people from the dance should come, people from painting, people from theater, from all, and people who are, not in the performance space or in the artistic space. Like we've invited IT students to come along, to be part of the Nagara Sankirtana. So they are all studying engineering. So this kind of a thing will make people so, it's like Hyderabad really needs, we really need things.
And you are bringing in Ramacharitra recitation, which is Tulsi Ramayana. You're bringing in the Kamba Ramayana. So when you're talking about the Telugu aspect, is there anything from the Molla Ramayanam also, or not for this time?
Yes, Gauri Mahulikarji will be talking about the Molla Ramayanam, and she will also be talking about the Maharashtra and Gujarat, the folk Ramayanas, which are women-centric.
Wow. Okay.
So she will be talking about that aspect, and Molla, she's dealing with the female composers like Molla, and there's another composer she's speaking about.
Lovely. So very nice.
Yes,
I think what we are both trying to say, Kavita, finally, is that, we're trying to offer this as an offering, literally, as an offering for ourselves, for each one of us who will be there and who want to be there. And it is about owning your culture. It's about owning your roots. It's about going back to your roots in whichever way you want, through the prism of scholarship, arts, through the prism of performance, through the whatever window works for you.
She has been in the dance field for decades, and there are many dancers. We have many dancers. It is not only mostly artists think about my performance, my program, my next event. So this is a mindset that we need to remove. It is not just me doing things. It is me giving back to the art form that has given me so much. And that kind of an attitude is very important, because that's how Tamrapatra started. That is how the With Me, those series that she had curated. That's how it all starts, is that you want to give back in different modules. What you have gained from the art form, you have to also return it. You have to give it back.
I'm really excited about the Nagar Sankirtana you have lined up, Tyagaraja Aradhana, like on April 2nd morning from 7 a.m. onwards.
Yeah.
So a little bit about that, if you can tell us where the route will be and how we'll go about it, and how do we keep up this momentum?
So the Nagara Sankirtana is also an idea to take it for those who again, experiential, interactive, immersive. This is the words we are using. It is actually a very short walk. This is actually an idea thrown by my student and my team member, Sneha Magapu. She threw me two ideas.
Thank you,
my student. Yeah, so she's been throwing me all these very, hip ideas from the young space. She said, "Oh, let's do a run." I said, "No run." So I said, "Let's do a walk." We can't run anymore. Can't run. So we're doing this walk. I said, "Yeah, we have a walk when Nagara Sankirtana is part of our tradition." So we just it's a short walk. And thanks to Anupama, TK Saroja and TK Sujata, readily agreed to lead this whole thing. So it's a walk from CCRT, which is on Madhapur, and we just walk. It's a very short walk, less than a kilometer, to the Ramalayam, Ramanjaneya Swami Alayam. We sing and walk along. We go there, we do darshan, probably have a prasadam, and walk back singing. So it's a short one hour outermost. So, Hyderabad, wake up.
Yes.
And
that is followed by the Tyagaraja Aradhana.
Followed by Tyagaraja Aradhana by Shweta Prasad and Goshti. It's Goshti. There are many musicians joining us, mridangas, flutists, violinists, all are well-known Hyderabad. So she's leading it. So it's a Pancharatna, again one. Yes. So Hyderabad, I have been getting, feedback saying, 7 in the morning, I'm like, yeah, wake up. It's all right. It's for
Wake up.
Rama. Wake up. You can sleep next weekend. Be there. Don't miss it. Kind of thing. Even the first day, that is on the 1st of April, the Manaspa is
Manaspa.
happening at 7:30. Because
Manaspa
that's when
at
you're
7.
fresh and you can, this willy-nilly osmosis will happen if you're there. So don't miss it.
You can probably see Rama because he's up early. So if you get
Yeah,
up,
so
you
wake up, guys.
But
Come
that
on.
So, Ananda Garu, you also have this showcase, which is a brilliant idea of cultural brand ambassadors. And Indic and Hindu organizations who are working in the city or otherwise can talk about what they do, what they offer, or what we do and what we offer. And it's slated for both the days from 2 to 4:30 p.m. And you want this, what is your motivation again? You want this to help in building a Hindu cultural network, joining hands, like Anupama Garu was talking just now, to host and create art, or is something more than that?
So actually, there's a small change in the timing. So it's going to be between the talks in the morning. So we have the audience. So there's a slight change. It will happen in the morning. And
Both the days.
Yeah, both days. It will happen in the morning. And what will happen is, this is again Sneha's idea. Let's do let's figure out who's in the brand. Everyone is working in their own silo, in their little cubicle. So let's get together. This is about holding hands, knowing what each other does. What each other do, and then holding hands and supporting each other. I think finally that's the idea of the whole Ramayana Kalpavruksha. So let's put our shoulders together to take the knowledge space of our Indic knowledge into the next edition. So that's the plan. And thank you for Brihat for partnering us. Thank you for going. I'm going to also share that the talks will be available on Sangam Talks. Some of the performances will be available later on Tickle, but that's for those who are not going to be able to join in Hyderabad. So thank you, Brihat. Thank you for all my sponsors, and thank you. IGNCA is collaborating, Kalakshetra is collaborating, ICCR is collaborating. We have a page of sponsors.
Many partners.
Many partners. Yes, Rama has moved, I would think.
Wonderful. And of course, we have catering by Simply South. I think you shouldn't forget to mention that, because you made it very easy for anybody who enters not to exit easily.
Yes. So the plan is be there by 7 or 7:30, depending on the day. But don't worry about your kitchen. There is catering available. Catering is available. It's on offer, so you can buy whatever breakfast or lunch or tea you want. And dinner, maybe you have something, catch something on the way, or let us know. So we can also rustle up some dinner for you. So just come and be part. Yes. So Simply South vegetarian, huh? Please remember.
So last question, Andy. So the decision to make it ticketed, this program, was it driven by the number of seats and space available, or we have to train the audience also for aesthetic enjoyment, classical arts, to respect the arts?
Thank you for that question. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, the talks, the morning sessions are free because we felt that scholarship should be available to everyone. The evening is a minimum charge of 500 and 300 for both the evenings, for all the three.
So by evening, you mean after a certain time? So
6 o'clock. From 6 in the evening, we have all the evening events. The evening events on day 1, day 2, day 3, Kalakshetra, the next day Harikatha. It's day-based.
Those are ticketed.
All those are
talks
ticketed.
in the morning are not.
Morning is free. From 7 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, everything is free. 2:30 to 4:30, if you want to go for the workshop, it's priced at a minimum 300 rupees, which is just for the material. And for the evenings, which is from 6 to 9:30, whenever it finishes, it's 500 and 300 only. So
which is also
pay for the arts. Pay for the arts. I'm saying, guys, if you are paying to go for a film
and buy pizza,
or for another musical, for a film musical or a Western musical,
this is nothing.
Right?
Yeah,
you do pay, right? And you pay much more. So this is nothing. Come on, let's do it. Hyderabad, we can do it. Get paid for the arts.
Thank you, Amy. Chala dhanyavadamu. Can't wait to participate and experience all this coming weekend. So Hyderabadis, please don't miss such a wonderful opportunity. So if you don't wake up in the morning, if you do, which is great, if you don't, also it goes on till late in the night. So please, and support this weekend, this event, Ramayana Kalpariksham, make it a yearly event. And Andarki Ramanavami Subhakanshalu. Jai Shri Ram.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.